Sky Blue here. I said I was going to do a follow-up from the last video, and I was hoping it was going to be a bit more positive, but I woke up this morning with a slew of texts from one of my white male friends. I wasn't going to read them, but then I thought, well, I need to know what's going on here. Who's saying what to me? And there was so much. I was called a cunt. I was told I didn't care, and we weren't going to be friends anymore, and stuff I've heard before. Calling me nasty. And I really didn't know what I've done wrong. And at some point I did say, and I did ask, what is it that I said? And all he can come up with was, I said my piece. So you just threw a load of abuse at me for no reason, except for you can. And you do. And you've done it over and over to me. After, again, I've been really generous, really helped you out. And that's the thanks I get. Loads of abuse. So I'm a bit lost with it, because it really brought me down. I'd only just, had to deal with someone sort of storming into my flat, shouting abuse at us and going off. I mean, it just doesn't seem to stop. I just feel like a complete doormat. And the odd thing is that, I have cared about this person, otherwise I wouldn't help him, but at what point do you say, look, you need to look after yourself. I can't do it anymore. He's a 35-year-old man. He has lost his mother a couple years ago, and that must be awful. But I still don't get the abuse towards me when I've helped him. I don't understand it. I'm not really sure what to do about it, because I feel torn, because I can see the kind sides of him. But then this awfulness comes out, and he just rants some horrible stuff at us, and it doesn't really make any sense to me. I don't know where it comes from. But I don't want to be on the other end of it regularly. I mean, he says, oh, we're not going to be friends anymore and all that. I thought, friends don't behave that way. Especially after I've helped the guy for weeks. He's had no money. I've made sure he's eaten. He comes around, eats my food, hangs out at my place, keeps me awake. So it just feels really unfair. And then I spoke to this woman about, this well-being center and whatnot, and they could do CBT stuff, and I've done it before. Again, I was in tears. Again, talking to this person just brought me to tears. I mean, why, I want people to uplift me, not bring me to tears every time I talk to them. A complete stranger has me in tears over my life that she knows nothing about, but they're the expert in CBT. Oh, well, maybe we could do some counselling. But, it has to be between 9 and 5. I could barely talk at that time of the day. I'm up all night. I don't sleep in the nights. I go to bed generally sometime in the early hours. So if I got to do something in the day, book an appointment, speak to someone. I had to speak to a dentist today. It's a real struggle. A real struggle. But I have to do it. But, do I really want to do some CBT therapy during this time? No, I want to be resting in the day. I've got ME. My body needs to rest. My brain needs to rest. It doesn't need to be talking about how to cope with daily activities when I need to be resting so I can do my activities, whether that's in the day or at 3 a.m. when I've got energy. So I don't think it's going to work. They have a waiting list. And, again, I followed this up because a friend helped me fill in a form. And I thought, you know what, let's see. A lot of friends, they just don't get it. They don't get it. They don't want to see it. They just want to see me as a, healthy, able-bodied person. They don't want to hear about, my disability. But it is a big part of me. It is part of me. It's not all of me. But if people can't sort of accept it and support it, i.e. lend some support, I just don't see the point. And it's just, give. I have to give to everyone else. Because they're all, hands out. Give me. And if you don't give me exactly what I want, when I want it, when I've demanded it, God, I hear no end of it the next day. We're not friends. I don't care. Never mind that I made sure you ate for the past 2 or 3 weeks because you've had no money. It's just constant demands. And, I don't know if it's a white male privilege, it's a white female privilege thing, where these people just think they can get away with it. And they don't really care who they hurt. In fact, it seems like they actually enjoy hurting people. It gives them a kick. Oh, I feel down, I feel terrible, so I'm going to make someone else feel terrible. It's an awful thing to do to someone. And I don't see how I can come back to this person and help him anymore, because quite frankly, I don't think he deserves my help. I need help. And it's not, bring a, couple bits of food occasionally. It's, not just practical, it's moral support. It's emotional support. Not constant put downs. And that's, that hurts more. They say sticks and stones can break my bones, but names can never harm me. Well, I don't believe that saying. I think names can harm you more. Because, your bones can heal. They heal up. But what about your emotions, How do you heal them? If you're constantly being badgered and put down and abusive behavior. He calls me nasty and a cunt. Why? What did I do? I actually bought him a £50 gift for his birthday, literally, last night. And then I wake up to abuse today. I'm nasty, I don't care. I don't know what is wrong with this person's head, but it's not down to me to figure it out. And it's not down to me to sort his life out. I've tried. I've tried to help, and in fact, I don't think it helps. Because he's not taking responsibility. He's not saying, I need to sort this out. If I feel bad, I need to find out how I'm going to make myself feel good, not make someone else feel awful. It's abuse. And I've dealt with abuse my entire life. From a young child until an older and quite, I'm not a youngster anymore. And still I'm putting up with it. Still I excuse it. And I hate to say it, but it all comes from white men. And, okay, I'm not saying I haven't been treated badly by white women. So, I won't make it a male thing. I won't make it a gender thing. I don't like to, make anything gender specific, because I consider myself gender fluid. So yeah, I've been treated badly by white men and white women. And, it's just not on. It really isn't. And I think it's going to get to the point where I'm just going to not talk to these people anymore. I really just don't see the point. I don't see the point in talking to people that somehow, whatever their gender, somehow think they are superior in any way, shape, or form than someone else. Whether it's another human being or, quite frankly, an animal. Because I am also vegan. And I believe animals have the same rights to live without harm and suffering done to them. And as we know, the animal agricultural industry does despicable horrors to the poor animals that are raised in that industry. They are treated appallingly. And a lot of vegans call it the animal holocaust, because billions are killed every year for human consumption. And we don't need to eat animals to survive. In fact, we shouldn't eat them because it gives you loads of bad illnesses. So yeah, there's also been another terrible shooting in America of a black man. I believe his name is Jacob Blake. 29-year-old man. There's a video of it. Not from the police officers' cams, because they didn't have them on, but from someone else, and it is a horror. The man was literally walking to his car, and as he was getting into his car, the policeman shot him in the back 7 times. 7 shots in the back, with his children in the car. 3 children. Somehow the man has survived. I think he's in critical condition, and so far I think they've said he's paralyzed at the minute from the waist down. How he survived is a miracle. And from what I hear, the policemen are just been put on leave. Like a holiday. Oh, just have a little holiday. I mean, it's appalling what goes on in this world today, right now. During a worldwide pandemic, it doesn't stop mankind from being so evil and getting away with it. And this is the problem. The police have got away with it forever. The bad treatment of women has gone on forever. The same with people in the LGBTQIA community have been treated badly forever. I mean, people with disabilities get treated badly. You know, the white man sits at the top, and so does privilege, so does money. So whether you're a white man or a white woman, and everyone's below and gets treated like shit so that they could stay at the top. And I don't know how many times I'm going to carry on excusing this behavior from so-called friends. You know, I stopped giving money to someone who kept coming around asking for money and asking for money and asking for money. And he got really angry when I stopped. And it was quite cruel. But this person does nothing to get his own money. He doesn't work. He doesn't sign on. And he's got 4 children. And somehow I'm responsible for that. I don't know. I just don't know how I can keep forgiving and forgiving and forgiving and saying, yeah, well, that's okay, you know. I didn't do it as I was told when you wanted me to do it. So I surely need to be punished and be treated badly. Never mind the times I have helped. The one time I can't do it, I get told never, ever to ask for help from this person. It's just so one-sided. And, you know, it's not nice, surely, what's happened to this poor man and his family. It turned out what he was doing, he was actually breaking up a fight in front of someone's property. They were fighting. I think there were 2 women fighting. He helped to break up the argument, and he was walking back to his car when the police turned up so he can go home with his children. And they shot him in the back 7 times. Close quarters. It's almost like when you're looking at it, you think this can't be real. It's like, it's got to just be, you know, you want it to be in some awful film, you know, because, you know, you see films and, you know, a lot of American films, a lot of shooting up and killing and all, you know, all sorts of ways to kill with guns, you know, and we glorify it, you know, the John Wick series, you know, shooting, bang, 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 kill. You know, it was a big part of my growing up. Even as a child, I had loads of little guns, like little caps and things to make noises, things go bang. It was just part of, I get it, it's part of American culture. You know, they wiped out the whole population of the Indians with guns. It's an awful part of our heritage. Just like slavery. It's terrible. Yeah, it's like it hasn't ended. It carries on, and it's, you know, in the police force, they're so protected. They have so much money and power. They just get away with it all of the time. I really hope you know, they don't get away with it this time. We just, you know, all the marches and protests have been, you know, for George Floyd, and now this gentleman, Jacob Blake. I mean, it kind of blows my mind that the times we are in, and it baffles me, you know, all the anger and lack of support, you know, towards myself. I don't get it, but, you know, perhaps we're easy targets for the white man with the guns, or with the, you know, the superiority complex, the entitlement they feel they're entitled to, you know. You know, you don't have to work hard for what you get. You just demand it. I demand this from you, so you will give it to me. Whether you want to or whether you don't want to. And if you don't want to, there's going to be repercussions. You're going to be told you're a cunt. It's awful. And I'm not really sure, you know, any therapy is going to help that. But it shocks me every time because I don't get it. I can't quite believe it. You know, how people can just switch and, you know, decide that they have every right to speak to me in these manners, and these police think they have every right to just shoot a black person because they want to. And because they can, because they've got the guns. And they've got this power that allows them to do it, and a system that protects them when they do it. And in fact, the system encourages them to do it and trains them to shoot first and ask questions later, which is just disgusting. So 2020 has been an awful year, and I don't think it's going to get better. I don't think this pandemic's going to end anytime soon. America's being run by a neo-fascist lunatic. If he doesn't manage to somehow rig the election by dismantling the postal service, well, who knows if he'll even leave if he doesn't win. It's that bad. And my own personal life does not feel good. But I did reach out to a friend, and he said, now I've got to be stronger than ever. And I will. I won't give up. And I'll carry on being strong, and I'll try and survive this. And somehow, I don't know, you know, I don't know if I can help enlighten other people. I think people need to find their own enlightenment, you know. You know, I've spent years on Facebook promoting veganism, and I get told all sorts of things like, you know, oh, you can't, you know, don't keep showing those awful pictures of the animals and whatnot. And you think, well, why not? This is what's happening. Surely seeing the awful pictures is going to make you think, oh, this is awful. Why do I want to eat bacon? Look at the victim and the state they're in during their whole lives, just to be butchered so you could chomp on their flesh. And they try and hide it and make it illegal to even show these things or video these poor animals on their way to the slaughterhouse. But now with social media and everyone's got a phone with a camera, thank God. The gentleman, Jacob Blake, someone videoed exactly what happened because the police didn't have any of their cameras on, and I think they were meant to, but they didn't have them on. I don't know if that's a new tactic, get away with stuff more. But, you know, it was again in broad daylight. You saw people screaming, just right there in front of it, seeing it, right in front of your eyes. So, yeah, I mean, I can't really compare some nasty words that I have to deal with to, being a black person who's literally frightened to be out in public, because if there's a policeman around, they might get in trouble, just for being black. Just for being black, they might get shot. So, my troubles aren't the same. I am a white person. But I am a woman. And I do have other, I guess you'd say sort of marginalised categories which I fit into in terms of sexuality and gender and disability. So, I do have, struggles. But no, not the same as a black man or a black woman. But I understand. I do understand. As much as I can, I haven't had to live that life. But women, just being a woman is not easy. I don't actually even like identifying as a female gender, but nor do I as a male gender. I don't like the gender specific. I do consider myself non-binary. And maybe that's an issue as well, Maybe that's why I don't get on with women that well. I don't know. I don't have many female friends. I really don't. I don't know if because I'm not female enough. But then I'm not male really, so what am I? Well, I'm gender fluid. Agender. Anyway, I needed to follow up because it was another difficult day today. In fact, it was an awful day. Waking up to abusive texts. And just, not being very well in myself physically. Just feel run down by this so-called friend who, comes round whenever he wants for support, and I have to kind of be there for him. And then, I get really very little in return, or very little thanks. It's very unpleasant. So hopefully I can do something about it to stop it. It might just be having to move on. Maybe that's the only way, he'll grow up and learn that you can't treat people like that and constantly get away with it. And I think that's the problem. People that are abusive getting away with the abuse sort of allows it to carry on, because I think, oh, well, I've shot a black man before I could shoot another one. Oh, I've degraded this woman, well, I can degrade her again. And at some point you have to say no. No, you can't. And there's repercussions for what you do. And there's consequences. So I do hope this police officer does get his due consequences for what he's done to this man. And let's hope he lives. Because no one deserved that. And his children didn't deserve that. He didn't deserve it. No, And these police deserve to be tried in a court of law for attempted murder. Because that's what it was. You don't shoot someone 7 times and don't expect to kill them. That's murder. But somehow he survived. Let's hope, truth and goodness will prevail over all this evil that's been going on in the world against good people. Sky signing off.